Lisa Sorley.
And how do you spell your last name?
S as in Sam, O-R-L-I-E. My name is Lisa Sorley. I'm a Bonduel Middle School teacher in the 6th grade.
Okay.
There are some changes that I've seen with our students when they've participated in our POPS program. With the peer supports, I've noticed a couple of things. One is their confidence level, the fact that they can start believing in themselves. I think they notice that there isn't this big chasm between the students that we work with and they're typically developing peers. I think the playing field gets a little bit evened. And I noticed as a teacher, I think I get deeper with subjects. I don't feel like, there were times when I first started, I'm like, oh my gosh, at the end of the day, I feel like I taught around a student. I didn't teach to the student. And that's a terrible feeling. And we're in this to make a difference, and it just sits on your heart. And finally, there was a tool that helped me become a better educator, and it also helped the kids, I think, become confident students and better students. The other thing I noticed is leadership. There's 2 students that came to Mr. Margolovsky this past year, and they asked to start a social club, Minecraft club. And he's like, this is the deal. I need you to find a teacher to do it. And he told them, don't go to Mrs. Early. She's got enough on her plate. They didn't listen. They came to me. I would not say no to that when somebody who has social challenges asks to start a club. And that's turned out okay. It's not a lot of work for me. The technology piece was tricky. But I keep thinking, wow, in 6th grade, we were trying to get you to go to recess. And now you're initiating a club, so it's very exciting to see. A change that I've noticed in my teaching is you'll notice a student behavior, or you'll notice where a student seems left out. And a lot of times you dealt with them by taking a group of kids, going out into the hallway, and talking to them one-on-one. That's still, even though it's meant to be confidential, it's really still calling a kid out. You know if a teacher's in the hallway with them, there's something going on there. You don't know what, but you know there's something going on. For instance, a student I had last year with a peer support group, initially we had it where one person was assigned to him, with him each day to make sure he got to his classes. They also would incorporate him into their games at lunchtime, make sure they sat at the table. And then what we decided to do is we used technology. We used Edmodo. So if there was something that happened in the locker room that I, thank goodness, don't have privy to, they would let me know, and we would deal with it on Edmodo. And it wasn't so, what's the secret group doing now? So that was exciting, a different way to teach. And the other thing that I really like about teaching with the POPS group is you become a family. And there's no person left out of the family, out of the community. And that's, I think, really fits in with our mission statement at Bonduel. I think it fits right in. To become part of our Power of Peer support groups, we had a very strict rubric. The kids had to be nice, and that's it. We've noticed we had students of all different academic levels. The kids that were already really academically strong remained academically strong. It wasn't hard for them to keep up what they were already doing. One really neat benefit is we noticed that kids that weren't as strong academically seemed to pony up a little bit more. And I think it's because they had to think about whatever they were helping a student with and put it in their own words, and it helped them understand concepts, academic concepts deeper. A way to implement it when you're using kids from all different classrooms is we've started lunch bunches, and we just call them POPS groups. So we'd bring in our lunch and we'd have a topic of the day. And depending on a student's need, it's been all over. 6 years back, these 2 students are graduating today. We started off with language items where we discussed idioms, and then there was a bunch of boys and they want to be a little bit competitive. So what we did is we made teams, and for every idiom that we were learning the next week, if they understood what that idiom meant, then they got a point, and for the points we went into the gym and they could shoot buckets. One of the students that we were working with, they were all athletic, but one of the students we were working with has a sweet spot. So I think he ended up getting like 3 points, where other kids may even had 6 points. And then the points, once we went to make buckets, was really the win or lose. And he nailed all 3 shots. He got a sweet butt, bing, 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 and his team won. And it was like, you know, they didn't carry him on his shoulders, but they did like with their cheers and whatever. It was kind of a neat moment. So I think what you do is you look at your goals, you pick some nice kids, and then you just let your heart do the rest. I think, and then like when I look at what those goals were compared to a student we worked with last year, we still started with lunch support. We made the kids very aware that things that you and I typically pick up on, body language, sarcastic tone, you could say like, this is going really well today. And some students would hear the words, this is going really well today, and go, all right, we should be louder. This is great. Just teaching those kind of things, if that's your goal, there's ways to do that. And when it comes up naturally, that's a time when you can use your technology, like I had mentioned Edmodo before. Edmodo is basically Facebook for educators. So when we set up those accounts, we would talk about something that naturally came up in the day, and then the kids would get a chance to use it again, so it's repetitive, or a chance to talk about it where it's not a-natural, where it's not unnatural. Mm-hmm. And it's a great way to spread your passion farther. I also think that the kids that are the typically developing kids become better people in the world. I really do. I'd like to know where they end up. I think, I don't think that our school is that special.
What I've learned from the group out of my very long time being a POPs member, I've learned that no matter how different you are from everyone else, you can always come to the POPs group with open arms, and they would never judge you by what you look like or what you do or just who you are. They would accept you no matter what. And to be honest, out of all the time I've spent here, POPs group has really become my family. I've learned how to not judge anyone, and I've also learned that that you can be surprised by different people just by getting to know them, by just getting to know them better, and just to really be their friends. I like the fact that everyone is trying very hard to get along, and no one is judging anybody, and that everyone wants to join this group. I mean, I've been in POPs ever since I was in 6th grade when it first started, and I remember that in one group there was like about 6 members, but now in high school, in my senior year, there are almost 3 different groups with almost 10 members, in each group, and I'm just surprised to see how much it's grown over the last few years, and I'm really going to miss it once I graduate, but I'm never going to forget being in POPs. I never will. My favorite activity was probably the lock-ins. That was where everybody would get together and we would stay in the school overnight. I don't know if they actually did lock all the doors, but we stayed in there overnight and we would do all kinds of fun things. There'd be movies, there'd be games. We could play in the gym and everything. And I thought that was just one of the highlights of the POPs group. I want others to know that the students at the school are not afraid to express who they are, that they are ready and they are willing to just be themselves and to just spread their wings and be who they are, basically. I want them to know that if their school ever has a POPs program in their school, I would highly encourage them to join it, and taking it from my own experience, it will definitely change their lives.
Whitney Banker, Banker. I started this program when I was in 6th grade, I think, and we started just like at a little lunch table and we got to know these people, and I met so many people through this group, and it was so nice to you learn how to like interact with others, even if like they're not your best friend. And I think it's going to be really useful, especially in college, because I learned how to like meet people and how to get along with others, and it was just a really great experience. When you like say meetings, I don't even consider them meetings because we get together, we play board games, we have cupcakes sometimes. It's just like a really fun group, and it's like really nice to just get together and just, it's kind of even relaxing because we do it at the end of the day, and it's nice to get together with these people that you're good friends with and just relax. It's nice. I think it's so rewarding. I love getting to know these people, and if I wouldn't have joined this group, I don't know if I ever would have like gotten to know them. And I think that it's been so nice over the past like 7 years. Now that we're graduating, like we got a card from the Pops group with all the seniors on it, and it was so sweet to see it. And we've become like a family, like I'm sure everybody else is saying, but we're really a family in this group, and I love it. I love doing the Pops dances. We get a bunch of different schools all around our community, or like all around the area, and they come to our school, and I think this year we had like over 100 people, and we just dance, and we get a DJ, and then we eat pizza, and it's just so much fun and so rewarding, and it's so fun interacting with everybody at the dance. I think that we are just so close, and no matter if you go to a big school or if you go to a school like us where it's like 300 people, this group just brings people together, and our group is so close, and it's so nice. Without Pops, I don't think our school would be as close as it is, because it just brings all of the different groups together, and it's so nice because we get to know everybody at our school, and I think that it just helps us to become close.
Elizabeth Schall, Schaal. There are a lot of things that Pops has taught me over the years. When I first started Pops, I was really shy. I didn't know about it because they had asked me to come to these meetings and to help people. And I was terrified of actually just talking to these people and interacting with them. But for a while I was terrified of even coming to the meetings because they would ask me to say stuff, and I wouldn't want to say anything. I just wanted to sit there and just kind of eat my lunch and then just leave. But I thought that all those people, because they were all a part of the really popular clique, and they were all the jocks and the people everybody wanted to be friends with, and I thought that they would judge me really badly, and I was afraid of that. And I learned after going to those meetings that they don't judge you at all. Nobody's ever judging you. Nobody's out to get you like they think you do. And I learned that everybody's actually really nice, and that I think that really helped me kind of open up, because if you would have asked me when I first started to do this, I would have said downright no, I will not do this, and now I kind of actually volunteered to do it, so I think that's really awesome. I've learned that everybody is different, and that you gotta love them for it. Everybody's really different, and everybody's really awesome because of it. You think that everybody should have the same interests and the same, I don't know, friends kind of thing, but they actually aren't. Everybody's really awesome, just different and awesome. I like that everybody's so close. I really like that in Pops, everybody is really close, no matter where they come from in school. You can have one of the nerdiest kids friends with one of the best jocks and in school, and they're kidding around and playing the same board game. Something that normally people, I don't think that any has experienced Pops would think is possible, but it is. Everybody is friends, and it's become kind of a second family to me and to everybody else that's been in it. So. At our school, everybody is really close. It's a small school, and they're automatically close, but you wouldn't expect it, but there are some kind of barriers between people, and I think that the POPs group really brings them closer. So everybody's even more tightly knit, and they know everybody's interests, likes, dislikes, where they're going this weekend, what they're going to do after high school. It's really close-knit, and I really like that. And I think that that's what people should know, is that POPs really does bring everybody closer. So. I used to hate them, but now I really, really love the meetings. I like getting together with people and playing the games and talking and conversing and doing everything, learning more about each other, all of that stuff. So it gets better, I guess. I used to think that it would be horrible during high school, but actually it gets really, really better. And the POPs group really does help. As long as you have a group of people who are willing to support you and help you in anything you need, it gets really, really better. So. The staff is really helpful in POPs. They're almost kind of like a parent almost. They help you, they encourage you. They're almost not like a teacher. They help everybody and everything. They're really awesome, actually. And the way that, I don't think there are any secret rules or any hidden kind of just silent rule kind of things. I think that just everybody just treats everybody else like their best friend, and they just talk to them like normal. Just because we've known each other for years now, that we know each other, and we just treat each other like we normally would. So, I guess.
Shauna Lenz, Lenz. What I've learned from the group is that friendships are really hidden everywhere. You wouldn't expect to find them in the people that you wouldn't normally talk to. But the POPs program has really opened my eyes, and they've told me that you can find friendships anywhere. I don't know, it's nice to always get that hi in the hallway from teachers that are part of the POPs program, or from the students, or even to give a hello. It'll brighten somebody's day. It's really fun to be in the POPs program. Some things that I've learned from the meetings. From middle school, we started with our small groups. We had 6 girls with us. We really got to know those girls specifically, which was really nice, because you form the friendships, and then you know that you can always go there for some help, or if somebody else needs help, you can always offer it. With the larger groups, I've learned that our groups are really different. People have different needs, and people have different personalities. With the POPs group, it's opened my eyes about a lot of things and a lot of personality differences, and it's really helped me to understand and learn about people. I like the POPs program because it allows me to get to know people. It's that in for just understanding, I guess. And I really like the dances and the activities we do. The POPs dance, the first year we did it was so rewarding. Those kids they were so happy to be there, and they were so excited. And they were just so excited just to talk to people, which is really cool because we take that for granted a lot. It's very nice. Yeah. The kids at our school, I would say, are really close. You get those people that you're just okay. But with our POPs program, it's more of a school thing than just a group thing. There may be a couple kids only involved in the group, but it's a school thing. It's really helped our school open up and be nice to everybody and to understand people's needs and people's differences. We did Autism Awareness Month here, and I think that really brought attention to different activities and like different needs of people and just how people are different. My favorite activity was the dance. Just dressing up and seeing everybody's face, and just there's this one girl here that she doesn't really talk very much to anybody. She was so excited. She was kind of embarrassed at first to be like in a dress because she usually doesn't wear that stuff. But when she got in there, you could see on her face she was so happy, and just being there with her was really cool.
It brings tears to my eyes too.
I'm Mitchell LaBarge, LABERGE. That's like a family, and nobody judges one another. And they're always there for one another as well. That's great to get together because we have made a difference in our school by doing the POPS program and all the lock-ins and activities we planned for not only inside school but outside of school as well. I like that we did the dance every year because we made a difference for a ton of people around this area that have severe disabilities. And to see them having a great time that they never did in their life, it just makes it a great thing that our school did. I think others should join POTS because then you can connect like with half your school by doing it. It's helped me respect one another and made new friends from it. I like the lock-in a lot because we did a whole bunch of activities as a group, and it was just a good time. Everybody just had fun in middle school. Just know that you're making a difference for your school if you join POPS, and it's a great program to get into, and the staff are very supportive to everybody that's in it.
My name is Matt LaBarge.
And how do you spell your last name?
LABERGE. Things I learned from participating in POPS is to always think about other people, not just yourself. There's a whole bunch of people out there, and be willing to help them if they need it. What I learned from attending the meetings is it's always good to help people out, make new friends, and enjoy each other. Like we play games a lot, in here, like apples to apples and stuff. It's cool, just hanging out, having some fun during the day. I like the POTS program because it's taught me how to communicate more with people. Because I was kind of not social back in middle school and high school. I started to be a little more social, more friends and stuff. So it taught me to open up, talk to some people and stuff. What I would want other people to know about students in Bonduel is students at Bonduel are very outgoing. Everybody has like great leadership, I think. Our school shares that with this POTS program. Everybody seems to be pretty nice to each other. And there's something that happens, like a bullying thing, and we're always here to step in and hopefully to the next group to pass on. Just be nice to everyone if there's something that happens. Try to take care of their shoe and help out the kid. My favorite activity was coordinating the dance the last 3-4 years. That was a lot of fun, just to see all the kids having a good time and stuff. And talking to them, it was kind of funny. I talked to one kid about video games, and that was kind of cool, so it was fun.
First name and last name.
Monty Cornette, Cornette. It's about for when like someone would have a trouble with something, he can have a friend close by so they can be helped and it can just work out. I've learned especially that everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and if you know that, then you can help those who also help you. What I like about the meetings is Friday, like we have like a game or something going on, and not only is it fun, but it also helps us get to know each other. The Pops group is about, well, if someone is having troubles, they can have a friend nearby to help them out right away, and it'll all work out.
Can't remember what else I asked you. What do you like best about the Pops group?
Well, what I like best about the Pops group is just having someone to help out, you know, a friend, just to help out when something's hard.
The Pops group is kind of about like if you have somebody that's struggling, they can have a close friend that they really know and they get along with that can help them. You can help them by maybe helping with homework they're struggling with. You could help them try to stand up for somebody, like if there's a bully that's bullying somebody. What I've liked about the Pops group is somebody always has an opinion, and we always just laugh and we have a good time. Well, I kind of feel like a leader, and I kind of feel like I can stand up for somebody that doesn't want to, and I can kind of talk to that person, like to help them out a little bit. I kind of do, and somehow you can kind of just let them finish their conversation, and like when they separate and they walk away, you can kind of just talk to them separately.
Carter Siolka, Siolka. What I like best about being in the Pops group is learning how to work better with others and coming to the meetings. For Autism Awareness Month, we went around to each classroom and showed them a PowerPoint, and it was a true and false, and you gave them facts about the answer in the question.
What was the topic about?
Colon Klosterman, Klosterman. I've liked about being in the Pops group is that you get to find out a person's, I don't know how you'd say it, like his character, like how he acts and around school and places.
Mitch Ranke, Reinke. I like to be in the Pops group because I can help people in the community and in the school. It's helped me because I've had people just to hang out with more, you know. On those days that we actually have a Pops group meeting, we kind of have fun, you know. It's not really all just work in that you still have fun in the Pops group. People with autism, they're just exactly like other people, except for they're more creative and more fun to be around, I'd say. They just need social help and helping out other people, and they may have other strengths and weaknesses, but I'm sure that other help can conquer that along with the Pops group. I've had times where people in gym, they're always saying that they're right and they're taking advantage of them and letting their temper get the best of them, but then somebody in the Pops group will help out in the end, and they actually help that person.
Riley Jiskra, Jiskra. The Pops group have
have helped others by helping people communicate with others, making friends, and helping them learn and make sure they're doing good in school and asking them questions, see if they're doing okay in life or whatever.
Okay.
Tracy Schmoll, S-C-H-M-O-L-L. Who am I? I am Tracy Schmoll. I am a high school special ed teacher, and we're at Bonduel High School talking about our POPs group here at the high school. I got involved with the POPs group my first year here. I was recruited right away off the bat after I was hired, and there was a group of kids who already had the group up and going, and they just took off with it. And there was a few kids that were real quiet at the time, and as they got to know their group members, they just blossomed into these wonderful young individuals, and they just became more outgoing and were trying new things and meeting new people, and just a totally new side to them. Most definitely. In the classroom, we see a lot of our members grouping up with one another, and they are supporting each other in the classroom, in the hallways. During lunch, they're sitting together. They've just formed almost their own little family here at school, and a lot of them are doing it outside of school now too. A few students that I can think of particularly, they started out as real quiet and shy, and once they got involved, they just became these outspoken and more involved students. They just kind of blossomed into their own individual, and they just got more involved. They were going to sporting events. They just became their own person, and it was really cool. Yeah, at the beginning, I didn't know a lot of the parents with the students we were working with, but then as we got further into the program and it became a bigger program over the years, parents had nothing but good things to say. They just raved about it and how it helped their child become who they are now and help them just grow and become more involved and just learn more about themselves, and the parents were just very proud. Some students in our group that this might only be their only group that they're involved with. So some of these kids, they thrive on it and they look forward to it on a monthly basis meeting. And some of them are even getting together on a weekly basis just to, hey, how you doing? Check in with one another. And so for that, some of them, they just look forward to it. It's like the highlight of their week when we have our meetings. POPs stands for the Power of Peer Supports. So we started out just with small individual groups, and over the last 5 years we've molded into one large group here at the high school. And they all work with one another, and they plan activities and events. And it started out, my first year we had this big huge lock-in that included middle school and high school students, which was just phenomenal. They had games we had planned throughout the whole night, and we had a DJ that came in and they did karaoke and just kind of took everybody out of their comfort zone. And the kids just had a phenomenal time. And now we, at the high school level, we have big, huge group meetings monthly, and sometimes we try and squeeze them in where we have twice a month, which is really cool. And we do just kind of get to know you activities, and we work on social cues and how to address people in different types of situations. And the kids just really, they stepped up into some really big leadership roles within the school. We started out with target students with autism, and we brought in some of our students who we knew would work really well with those, and that's how our groups developed here. And then from there, we've had multiple students, I want to be part of POPs, and so it's become this real big group. So we do have some target students yet that still have autism that are in our group, and it's become a huge group of all these kids working together. And it is kind of bringing awareness to everybody else in the school about autism. We have been generating some of our own resources. We bring in different games for students to get to know one another. We've also done some research online and brought in new games, and even some of the students have brought in different get-to-know-you games and different activities to help them work with one another. POPs has been such a wonderful program. Like I said, it started before I even started here, and it's just flourished into such a wonderful program. Some of these kids who were the quiet and shy and weren't really involved are now going out and attending sporting events, going to proms, and just becoming more involved. And I feel like they're getting to know themselves better, as well as their families and their classmates and the community in general. And they've just flourished into such wonderful young individuals.
First and last name, you can spell your last name, please.
Sherry Schill, Schill. I am the school psychologist and school counselor at Bonduel Middle School, and I currently facilitate one of our 2 POPS groups at the middle school. What I've seen for the kids that we would call the target students, kids with autism, I've seen kids really grow in their confidence and learn skills that maybe they didn't have or that they could improve upon, and how learning those skills have helped them become kind of like one of the group. It helps them with their social skills and really being accepted by their peers and being part of the group. So I've definitely seen that with our target students. And with the other students that are the support students, they've been able to kind of shine a little bit, because oftentimes they're kids who already have leadership skills, but not always. And but they've been able to kind of step up a little bit and help those target kids during times when things aren't maybe going so well for them. So it's helped them grow in their confidence and accept others that maybe don't have as many friends, or maybe are a little bit different, and kind of help them become one of the group. Well, I think that what has helped me with that is really seeing how, if you do things to fidelity, they work. Typically, when you don't do things to fidelity, they're not as effective. And so it's really important that you do that. It's evidence-based for a reason. And although there are parts of the POPS program that are really good and you think may be able to stand alone, all together is the way it works. And so I guess that's something that I've seen with this program, is that to conduct it with fidelity is the way you're going to get results. So it's important to do that. When there's a target student that has needs, what we do is really identify what the needs are, and then try to build the support students. So you might say you have a student with a need, and then we identify students that are maybe in their main classes that would be good supports. They've either shown the potential to be a good support or have already stepped up in some ways to do that. So then we identify a small group, maybe, I don't know, I'd say 5 to 7, maybe a little bit more of those support peers. We bring them in, the support peers, and we talk to them about autism. We talk to them about the specifics of the target student and the needs that child might have. And then we teach them, well, how do you address this need? If it's a communication need or a social skill need, or whatever that target skill or skills might be. And then once the support group has some knowledge under their belt, we kind of send them out into the real classroom school world and ask them to implement some things that we might have taught them, skills and ways to step in to help out. And then once we kind of get that going for a while, we'll bring in the target student into that main group. And then our activities in our POPS groups are sometimes specific to a skill, sometimes they're just fun, games or things like that. So as we kind of develop the process, when we kind of absorb the target kids into our group, they're part of the group. They oftentimes don't realize they're the target. Sometimes they do. And either way, it's worked well. I mean, I think either way, the students have understood that this is here to help me. One of the greatest things that I have seen is that students with autism, they are, I think, embracing that they have autism, and it's not a big deal anymore because they're accepted and they're part of the group. And so that's been a great thing. And the other kids that are involved, the support kids, plus then the kids outside of that, they can learn that, this person with autism, yeah, there's some things that might be a little different, but overall, they're not that much different than me. And that's kind of what I think this all does. It just kind of bridges those gaps between the kids with autism and kids without autism, and it helps everybody grow. So. I think that I think it really goes to that confidence piece once again. I think the target students, when they have confidence that they can handle a situation, or that a situation isn't going to be, it doesn't have to be a big deal. Or, if it's something that maybe they've struggled with, or it's maybe an area that they do struggle with, like for instance, student who might have a hard time losing in games, or hard time with people not following the rules the way they want them to, and that kind of a thing. And learning that because they have support peers in that setting, that there's people there to help them through it. And it's helped them to realize, okay, this isn't that big a deal, or I can cope with it this way. And then it kind of gets them through that bumpy time, and it doesn't turn into a big issue like it might have in the past. So I guess that's kind of helped them. Although they're relying on peers at times, they're also, I think, learning that I can get through this, and maybe they don't always have to rely on peers. And I've seen that too, where they might have relied on peers, and as they kind of go through, they're at a point now where they can say, hey, this is what I need, or this is how I'm going to handle it, or, and that they don't always need that support. I think in part it's special for them. So they get to maybe get out of class a little bit, which they always enjoy. And it's time that we can continually be reminded that we all need support, and we all need to kind of step up and help each other. So it just helps us kind of stay connected as that core group, and then check in with, well, how is it going as a target kid, or as a support kid, or just as our whole group? How are things going, and how can we help each other? Not really. I think it's reinforced, my what I think about, students in general. I think majority of students that want to help, and they recognize when there's somebody struggling, and they want to help. They don't always know how, and this helps them learn how. And certainly I've always had confidence in students with autism that they can overcome some of the difficulties and improve and things like that. So those are things that I've kind of always thought, and this has reinforced that. I absolutely recommend it. I think it's worth the time and effort. I think what I would recommend or advise is really spending time on the front end of the program, where you're identifying the supports, teaching the support kids, and coaching them. I think that's the foundation. Once you have that, then the other stuff, whether it's monthly meetings or activities and things that you do, all of that stuff can be tailored to what you want or need. But spending your time on that foundation is going to be the most important piece of it, in my opinion. And then after that, it's gonna take off. It's going to be easy after that point. The target audience, so to speak, is autism, but there are a host of other issues that people have, students have, behaviors, social things, communication, you name it. Doesn't matter if it's autism or not. And this could be used, I think, for anything, any target student or students who need support. Because there are people out there who maybe don't have friends, or aren't included, don't feel like they belong, or maybe just something makes them different so that they're not included as would be the best or most helpful to them. So yes, indeed, this I think can be used for anything. Any kid who's maybe on the outs a little bit and needs to be kind of brought into the group and support.
My name is Luke Sell.
And can you spell your last name, please?
S-E-L-L.
So you've been participating in the POPS program for a couple of years now, right?
Like just 2.
Yeah, okay. What have you learned from participating in the POPs group?
Well, making it like trying to help me calm down and trying to do your best, like to stay calm and to help people to have fun.
What types of things do you like about being in the POPs meetings?
Well, like playing games, having pizza parties and stuff.
What is your favorite thing about POPs?
Well, spending time with my friends.
Okay. How do your friends help you?
Well, trying to help me stay calm.
What do you want other people to know about our POPs program?
To learn about, to help people who try to calm down.
Okay. What was it like before you were in a POPs group?
Well, like I was usually like this, but my mom is giving me some medicine to help it.
How did the POPs program help with that?
Well, it helped pretty good, and like it helped really good a lot.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how it helped you, Lou?
Well, it helped me stay calm.
Okay. So what do friends do to help you stay calm?
Well, tell me it's okay and try helping me.
Is there anything else that
The
you
following
want?
students, please come to the office. Morgan Dunst, Jessica Ebert.
Is there anything else that you would want other people at other schools or parents or anyone else to know about our POPs program? And if you think it's a good idea to start a POPs program at other schools?
I think it would be good.
Okay, how come?
Well, there might be some other kids like me, like who try to stay calm, but they can't. And so they might try doing the POPs group.
And I'm going to ask you that question one more time. Your first and last name?
Mackenzie Stoss.
And can you spell your last name?
STOSS. It was like, well, we all got together as a group. Like there was a set day that we would meet and we would just talk about random stuff, play games, and organize events for like us to do, like fun things to do to get to know new people. I liked the lock-in because we got to sleep over and we got to hang out with friends. It helped me because I got to meet new people and I got to interact with others. Yes, because POPs is a great way to socialize with other people, maybe make a few new friends, to just have fun. I think a little because it helped me transition from maybe not so many friends to a couple more, and that got me talking more, and that helped me to like transition. Well, I would suggest joining POPs because it's so fun and everyone is just nice and yeah. Who I am Mackenzie. I have autism and I can do things a lot of other people can. It's just maybe not as
Kim Bodo, B-O-D-O-H. Okay, I'm Kim Bodo, and I am a cross-categorical special education teacher for the middle school and high school in the Bonduel School District. My students get very excited about participating in the POPs meetings, and they are always looking forward to a couple of the events that they participate in through the POPs program. But the real difference that I've at least seen is that it helps build peer relationships outside of our classroom, because our students are in a classroom with other students with disabilities. It really helps them kind of branch out and meet students that are in the general education population. And I also noticed that it helps build relationships and make our students even more confident to go out for things like, sports and be involved in other extracurriculars because they're familiar with their POPs friends. So I've had experience teaching in a couple different districts, and I would definitely say that I think the POPs program really has an impact on how the general education students look at students that are maybe different from them. They're much more accepting. We're able to send our students, our students are comfortable in the lunchroom, they're comfortable at sporting events, they're comfortable on field trips because they've built these relationships with their peers from middle school on because of the POPs program, and then it's just really a much more accepting atmosphere than I've seen in other districts where I've taught special education. Absolutely not. So I have a few students with autism that are served through the program. Also have some students with emotional behavioral disabilities, students with other intellectual disabilities, students with Down syndrome, just any kind of, all of our severe disability students, I believe, in the high school program have been affected by the POPs program. So when I took over, the teacher previous to me had set up and they held a formal dance for schools around our area for other classes who have students with severe disabilities. And so I kind of just stepped in and took over where she had left off. And so I've been able to supervise and coordinate this dance for the last 2 years now. And it's probably the most rewarding, if not it probably is the most rewarding experience of my whole school year, of being able to see the social aspect of it. My students look forward to it all year. Students from other schools look forward to it all year. As soon as I come back to school in September, I'm already getting emails from other teachers asking when our dance is going to be and asking for details about it because they are so excited. That we've had teachers actually come and say that that is the highlight of their students' year. And as for the POPs program, they essentially set up and run the entire thing. All I have to do is coordinate it and assign the students. So they come in the morning, they decorate using the junior class prom decorations, and they are extremely independent, and they decorate and get everything ready with just a little bit of guidance. And then when all of the schools come and all of our students are in the dance, they do a good job of making social connections with the students in the dance, making sure everybody's having fun, helping out with the lunch and all these other things. But it's just really cool to see a group of students take this on and really be independent. I mean, with a tiny bit of adult staff guidance, the POPs program really is the prom, and they are the ones that put it all on. I mean, with just a little bit of help. So. Also had the opportunity to be a part of the evidence-based practice grant for the past 2 years. And so going through the modules, there were a lot of things that were familiar, obviously, from going to school to be a special education teacher, but so many things that were good reminders for someone that's been in the classroom now, just to remind you of those supports that can help the students with autism in your classroom and other students, obviously. And there's just really, it's awesome to hear other people's ideas and hear what works in their classrooms related to the modules. So they talked about visual supports that they use in their classroom and on field trips, and then it was things I had never thought of. So then I was able to take those back to my classroom and use them. And this year we even had one of my paraprofessionals also participated. So it's nice to have someone else in my classroom that I can bounce ideas off of and go back to those modules and say, hey, is this something that works for other kids? Are we implementing this right? Are we doing this right? From anything from the peer supports to the visual schedules to extinguishing non-preferred behaviors and all kinds of things like that. So I would say it's just a really good way to remind people of the things that they already know about working with students with disabilities, in particular autism, and then a great way for teachers and staff to bounce ideas off of each other for what works in their room. I think that schools would be very lucky to receive this grant and have those monies available to educate other staff. I think our school district did a really good job of incorporating not only teachers of students with disabilities, but the general education teachers who also see our students every day, and our paraprofessionals, and it really just, it helps make sure that not just the people that are, you know, in the swing of it every day, but other people that maybe encounter it only here and there, are also able to have the knowledge of working with students with disabilities. I would say my top 3 modules that I liked were the extinction module. So we learned how to implement extinguishing behaviors that aren't preferred in the classroom and out in the community. The visual schedules, which I mean a lot of us were using, but it really showed you how to narrow it down and use it correctly. And that's another one that I really liked. I would say those are probably my 2 favorite that we use every day in our classroom.
Name and last name.
Brandy Genske, Genske. I'm Brandy Genske, Program Support Teacher at Bonduel School District. Working with the Evidence-Based Practice Grant over the last couple of years has been very rewarding. And it's rewarding in the aspect that I see other teachers and paraprofessionals and just everybody coming together to learn about these different modules and learn what is proven to work with students with autism. And that is taken from our meetings and hosted into the classroom. And teachers, they collaborate and they share, and it just brings about this wholesome opportunity for them to share with not only students with autism, but other students as well. They're all very meaningful. One of my favorites is video modeling. I think it's important for a student to see what are they supposed to do instead of what you're not supposed to do. And I think it's very powerful that they're able to see themselves or another peer doing the same types of behaviors or actions that we are encouraging. Many times people think that they should know or they just are expected to know those things, and they don't. And once they see that, it's like a light bulb kind of goes off. So. As a parent of a student who participated in the POPS program, I am overjoyed. I feel like it has really opened my son's eyes and his heart, and just being able to accept others for who they are and not who society thinks that they should be. I find them very loving. I find them, I'm very proud of them when a teacher comes in and says, your son has stepped away from his typical friends and has embraced this other boy and just kind of took him under his wing. And it's like, that is what life is all about, and to really just focus on that. And so as a parent, I would recommend that every person be involved in a POPS group, just for that simple showing love and just care for other people. So if we put it all together, as program support teacher in the district, I see kids, you know, pre-K to seniors, and I know the kids that are participating, I know the kids that are having challenges, and to be able to see that come full circle is huge. In the hall, if a student is having issues, you'll see some students that might not be in that person's POP group, but they will wrap around them and say, you know what, it's okay, take a deep breath, let's move on, and they really try to be positive and just encouraging, and it really changes the environment of our district, and that, like I said, district-wide. One last thing I'd like to say is that given the opportunity to participate in the grant has been, like I said, super rewarding, but it's most important to the students who we're servicing. yes, it's great that teachers get this education, but it really trickles down to the students who need the most support. And think of what that's going to do with the students who graduate and end up entering our community, and what that will do with those students who are in a workforce. I mean, it's definitely a trickle-down effect that will really help the state of Wisconsin, and that we're able to just rise above and accept everyone for who they are.
I have also had the opportunity to be involved in all of this work and to have my own children participate in this project as well. I have identical twin boys who were diagnosed with autism at age 3, and they have been interviewed for this project as well as seniors. They graduate tonight. And as a mother, it has been absolutely amazing to watch the development and growth of my own children. Through implementing an evidence-based practice in which they were able to participate in was absolutely wonderful. They have had so many personal relationships develop even further than they already had through this project. They have new connections, new friends, and more importantly, they became leaders. They became leaders and confident within a group that allowed them to be able to express themselves without judgment. And that was probably the most amazing thing, because these kids just cared for one another no matter what. And so my own children were accepted no matter what. And they have individual differences, but we all have individual differences. Theirs might be a little bit more glaring at times, but other people accepted them. These kids were so wonderful. I honestly do not remember a time where my boys have come home and said they've been bullied or harassed because of their individual differences. And I know that this had a big hand in it. After our participation in the National Professional Development Center for Autism project was completed, DPI then formed the opportunity to get involved in grants, mini grants. And we were able to run 3 years of evidence-based practice mini grants here in the Bonduel School District. It was a very fortunate opportunity for us. So over the last 3 years, we've been working as a group, and we've had many different community members on and off the groups for over the last 3 years. So we've implemented practices like visual supports, structured work systems, video modeling, extinction, reinforcement, several different practices. And I have to say that it's been really rewarding. We have general ed teachers, paraprofessionals, special education staff. So we tried to be all-inclusive through the elementary, middle school, and the high school to be able to look at different practices, to be able to implement them with fidelity as much as we possibly can, and talk about the importance of doing that. So as a school district, I can't thank our State Department enough for allowing that evidence-based practice grant opportunity for school districts to further the implementation of these practices within our schools, because they truly are making a major difference in the lives of students. As far as the future goes, we have completed the 3rd year of our evidence-based practice grant. And so we will no longer be receiving that grant. So now it's a matter of sustainability. And we have to figure out, as a district, how we're going to sustain the implementation of these evidence-based practices. But I really believe that we have a strong group of people here who've been involved, and they will actually be able to go to their colleagues. And if they're having challenges, we can say, hey, let's look at the modules. Let's look at the practices, and if you're having a hard time, let's implement, whether it's visual supports or reinforcement or what have you, that we will go back to that, and we will continue to use those resources that have been provided to us and be able to talk through them. In addition, our district has been very supportive of professional development, and I believe that if we need additional time to be able to plan to teach others about implementation of these practices, that we will do so. So I have a very positive outlook on the future with being able to sustain the work that we've done. We have some excellent staff members who've been involved, and a lot of students that are very excited about continuing on with the POPS project, but in addition to that, also learn about different practices as well.
Gavin.
What's your last name?
Campbell.
Can you tell her about your pictures? What are we doing next?
Talking.
We're talking. And then what do we do?
Walk back.
You walk back. And why do you like your binder?
I know.
How does it help you? Look at you. When you come to school every day, how do you use your binder?
Take off the things that I'm done with.
Okay, and then you look to see what's next?
Uh-huh.
Do you like your binder?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel when you don't have your binder?
No.
Do you have a thumbs up day or a thumbs down day? Depends, doesn't it? But we have better thumbs up days when we have our binder.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about your binder?
No.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
All right.
Good stuff. Not good job.
Lisa Pingel, Pingel. I would say over the course of the 3 years that we've been doing this, I've seen positive changes, I think, because we were able to reach out to more staff. It's given us time to talk about things, collaborate, get it into the classrooms more. So students have become more independent, more relaxed. Teachers are more aware of what's going on and can be more supportive. So I think as a whole, school district, we're able to reach out more. With the visual supports, we see more independence. It's made us more able to help other kids because the kids that need the visual supports are able to be more independent and on their own. So I think independence is probably the biggest thing, but it's also helped with transitions, reducing behaviors, reducing confusion. So, we have better days, certainly because of the visual supports. I think with teaching, I'm able to get more things in during a day because I'm spending less time worrying about getting through transitions, working on behavior management, making sure that kids can get through smoothly. So we're able to cover more activities, more ground through our day. So. With families, I think it's become a much more positive experience. We've had a lot more positive things to share. So I think we're calling home a lot more with, hey, guess what just happened? We had an experience with video modeling where the family was really struggling to get their child to eat certain foods, and we used the video modeling to introduce new things, and it just opened up a whole new world for them, and the parents were on board and they were using the videos, and so between that and just the visuals in general, I think we have a lot more success and can introduce a lot more things in an easier way for kids. So I think families have definitely been impacted in a positive way. I think we can share each other's struggles and talk about them, learn from each other. If we're stuck, we have people to lean on and say, hey, try this. So certainly, when we're in a bind or whatever, we have people that we can go to and they've had experiences, so they can share. When you're the only one using something, it's hard to find people that can help you through it. So I think through this grant, we've had the time to talk about things and problem solve. It was really fun. I would recommend it. I think it gave us time to address things that we don't normally have time to address. It gave us the funds to do things that we couldn't have normally done. And I think that we were able to reach a lot of regular ed staff where we probably wouldn't have been able to do that. So, I do see growth, and I see things being implemented that weren't implemented before, and I think that has now branched out to other teachers too. So I absolutely would recommend it.
Same and spell your last name, please.
Joellen Krieger, Krueger. I think the biggest change I've seen is just the ability for the children to relax and set themselves at ease. We had a student move into our district, and the uncertainty with transitions and just new staff in the environment caused a lot of anxiety for him. Once we put a visual schedule in place and some supports, the student functioned completely fine in the environment. He knew what to expect, when to expect it, and what activities he was going to be doing in each part of the day. Some of the changes I've made to my sessions would be I automatically incorporate visual supports and fade them as the students are ready. I also use a lot of video modeling to teach a basic skill, such as tying a shoelace. The student will watch tying the shoelace, and then we complete it, and then they are successful. And then I fade that back, and they watch the video, and they start to do it themselves without me helping them. As an occupational therapist, independence is what I strive for. That is my priority. I want the students to be as independent as possible. Structured work systems are another one of the evidence-based practices that will allow the students to, just even if they're in the general classroom, you can have a binder and have a student, if they're not at level, they can work at their level out of this binder. If it's spelling or reading, they can pull out of that. So it's kind of a structured work system. And then they are independent with that. Collaboration with families and teachers has always been a priority, but I think I see it change a little bit. Now I am sending the video modeling so they can work on these skills not just in my therapy department. They can work on them at home, and they can work on them in the general ed classroom as well. Team bonding is the best benefit, I think. We all get to know each other a little bit better. Special education, general education, paraprofessionals, everyone got to know each other a little bit better, felt more at ease with each other. And then the other second benefit that I think is a great benefit was the ability to brainstorm. If someone was having trouble with a student and didn't know what to do, we could brainstorm and say, well, maybe we should try this, and maybe we should try this. So it has. I right away think of, which module can I use? What can I do to help the student become more independent? I also paid very close attention to how I ask and state requests, making it minimal and straight to the point, trying to keep the extra jargon down. There are several teachers that are just phenomenal. Once they get the ideas, they just run with them, and then they share with their team. So if we had a third grade teacher who was on our team the first year, and she shared a bunch of ideas, and now the entire team is there. So instead of just the special education department coming to them, now we have general education support, and they're excited and they're sharing in their ideas. I think it's just great for everyone, the paraprofessionals, the teachers, general and regular, and special ed, that everyone is sharing their ideas. The modules are there, and we will need to review them. The checklist too, just to ensure fidelity, because we want to make sure we are doing them correctly, so everyone is on the same page. So my vision is that they're there for backup, and we need to keep promoting them as best we can.